You've got ideas. I mean, plenty of them, right? But then you sit down to actually create, and nothing. The project just never gets off the ground, and you start telling yourself, well, I'm just not creative enough. But what if that's completely wrong? What if creativity isn't some magical talent, but it's just a muscle you can train?
Oh man, we've all been there, staring at that blinking cursor on a blank page, and it feels like your brain is just empty. It's this horrible feeling of being creatively paralyzed. But the big question is, why? Why does this happen? Especially when we know we have all these ideas floating around in there somewhere.
And this is the reframe that changes everything. This isn't about you lacking some kind of creative gene. Not at all. It's about recognizing that creativity is a skill. It's a muscle that gets stronger the more you use it. And today, we're going to walk through the exact training regimen to build that muscle up.
So here's our roadmap. First, we're going to name your creative blocks. Then we'll dive into building a daily habit, finding some fresh inspiration, connecting your life to your art, and finally shifting into a really powerful abundance mindset. Let's get into it.
First things first, we have to understand what's really stopping you. You see, that creative paralysis, it actually feels painful. And that's because your brain is trying to protect you. It wants perfection and it wants safety. And that feeling usually comes from some very specific, kind of hidden fears. And you know what? These three fears are incredibly normal. You've got the paradox of choice, where you have so many ideas you just get overwhelmed and choose none of them. Then there's good old perfectionism, telling you it's not even worth starting if it's not going to be perfect. And of course, the big one, fear of judgment. That's just our brain choosing the comfort of thinking about doing something over the vulnerability of actually doing it. This is why the very first step is so simple, but it is so effective. You just have to name the block. The next time you feel stuck, just pause for a second and ask yourself, okay, which fear is stopping me right now? That simple act of awareness, it takes away so much of its power. It is the very first rep in training your creativity muscle.
Okay, so once you can name the fear, the next step is all about practice. Real, genuine creativity grows from consistent, low-pressure action, not from sitting around waiting for some lightning bolt of inspiration to strike you.
And I love this quote because it's everything. That initial push, just getting from nothing to something, anything, that is the toughest part. But once you make that tiny first step, you start to create momentum, and that's what will carry you forward.
So how do you actually do it? With what you could call micro reps. These are tiny little actions that feel totally safe. Write just 3 messy sentences. Who cares if they're good? Sketch for 5 minutes. Be playful in the kitchen. These small acts start to train your brain to associate creating with safety instead of threat. And that makes it so much easier to start next time. But okay, what happens when even those small reps start to feel a little stale? You know, when you hit a wall, that's where step 3 comes in. It's time to shake things up. Switching your creative medium can totally bypass those old mental blocks and spark brand new connections in your brain. So if you're a writer, try painting. If you're a designer, try cooking. A fresh medium doesn't have any of that history of pressure or perfectionism attached to it. It's just about playing, which, let's be honest, is the heart of all creativity. You know, inspiration isn't random. It's a skill you have to develop. You have to actively feed your senses. Go to a museum, take a walk, and actually notice the little details around you. You have to train your eye for what moves you. You're building a reserve of inspiration by exposing yourself to new ideas on purpose. All right. This next step is a powerful one. It's about connecting your creative output directly to your personal life. They are not separate things at all. They are deeply, deeply intertwined. This quote really just says it all. Your art is a reflection of your life. And if you think about it, a cluttered, chaotic life often leads to cluttered, blocked creative work.
Put simply, a calm mind creates freely. So when you work on clearing out that mental clutter, building supportive routines, and reducing all that noise from social media, you create space. And in that space, creativity just flows so much more naturally.
And that brings us perfectly to our final step, which is all about the internal story you tell yourself. It's about making a conscious shift from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. Scarcity thinking is an absolute creativity killer. It's that nagging voice that says, oh, all the good ideas are already taken, or my best work is behind me. But an abundance mindset, it knows that ideas are infinite. Every single project is just a stepping stone, and with every rep, your skills get better and better. So the practical tool here is what's called cognitive reframing. When that perfectionist thought pops into your head, you just counter it. You tell yourself, This draft doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to exist. The simple act of bringing an idea from nothing into something, that is the whole game. You have to celebrate that.
So let's bring it all together. Creativity is not reserved for some gifted few. It is a muscle, and it's available to anyone who is willing to train it. The blocks you feel right now, they're temporary. Your creative life doesn't need to stay stuck. All it needs is for you to show up, consistently and imperfectly.
And that's the real takeaway here. You don't need to wait to feel creative. You just need to start training the muscle, one small rep at a time. So my question to you is, what's that one small creative action you're going to take today?